for just a few moments to give us his thoughts is ChessMess from StarTrek-Games.com, formerly the STGU. Hi, Chess.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Thank you for joining us, ChessMess.
Glad to be here.
So, what do you make of all of this, ChessMess?
Wow, what a turbulent time it has been for poor Perpetual. You know, they started off with big hopes and ambitions. They had some pretty stellar management people behind it, some former EA execs. They had gotten a lot of funding for the project, and they really painted a pretty rosy and utopian picture of what we could expect with Star Trek Online. Unfortunately, the realities of business in the gaming world and maybe some questionable decisions in their daily work or interactions with other companies kind of left things going south, and they just kept tumbling and tumbling until the ball finally dropped. So I think it's pretty sad, but considering the last few weeks with Perpetual, getting the lawsuit, them transferring the Star Trek Online IP assets and all that over to this new P2, I think in the long run it's going to be better that it happened, that it finally went and looks like it's being transferred to some other development firm. Not because I didn't want Perpetual to do the job, not because I didn't think they could, but just based on what happened. If this game was going to survive and reach release, then we needed some new people, new business inside of it, and taking control of it. And this looks like what's happened. I thank all the guys who were at Perpetual for all the time they invested in it. I know as a game developer that you can pour your heart into something and even do everything you can in the world to make it the best you can, and it can still come out wrong. I'm not saying Legacy there, but there were some things with Legacy that I didn't like. But anyway, so it's kind of a wild time right now for the MMO. I think it's going to eventually be released, but it's going to be a long time.
Hey, speaking of the fans real quick, how are the folks in your community holding up after all this?
Well, I think there's several people who it varies. Some are like sad that it's all come down this way. Some are like feeling like good. Who cares? The MMO, I didn't think it was ever going to fly anyway. And some are like, well, maybe this is a second chance for the MMO. At least it wasn't dropped and left to die. I mean, we do have at least that much. If some other developer bought it, there is a chance. One thing that I kind of worry that it may become another Secret of Vulcan Fury. Where it's a lot of stuff gets done, worked on it, but it never ever reaches release, and that's very possible. Look at all the work that was done on Gods and Heroes. I mean, they had an internal beta, they had the game. I mean, MMOs getting canceled that are further along in progress than Star Trek Online happens all the time. So even though we do have a bit of a bright spot in another development team picking up, they could pick it up, work on it for 2 years, and say, you know what, this just ain't gonna fly, and chop it. So it's very much up in the air what's gonna happen.
Okay then. Hey ChessMess, thanks for taking time to join us today and give us your views on the current situation with Star Trek Online.
No problem. I'm glad to be here. It's nice to chat with you guys. You guys should have me on more often.
The doors are always open.
Yeah. If I could just find the time. That's the tough part.
Okay then. So, we have the news article, we have the comments from the Star Trek gaming community, and now we have the views of ChessMess, who owns the former STGU. But now the plot thickens further. Victor1st has sent in a rather interesting segment about the current Star Trek Online situation.
Oh, this ought to be fun.
So, it's over to you, Victor.
So people have asked me, why is it, Vic, that you knew this was going to happen? Some people have even conveniently forgot that I predicted all this way back in 2005/2006. I even had misgivings the minute Perpetual Entertainment stepped on the scene. but I gave them the benefit of the doubt, folks. That is, of course, until 2006. When 2006 came along, I received an email from a very good friend of mine who works in an unnamed MMO developer in South Korea. He told me that a company known as Gravity, and Gravity's the company that takes care of Ragnarok Online, in case you lot don't know that. He told me that a company called Gravity is about to invest a substantial amount of money in Perpetual Entertainment. And I thought to myself, the minute the money changes hands and Gravity gets a foot in the door of Perpetual Entertainment, the death knell and the slow train wreck, basically, of Star Trek Online would start to commence. Here's why. Before Gravity invested in Perpetual Entertainment, Gravity's own chairman pocketed, diverted, stole, whatever you want to call it, over $7 million of his own company's profits for himself. He was caught. The whole thing caused a massive storm in the Ragnarok Online community, because there was rumours that Ragnarok Online would get shut down. That little thing was happening. There was also rumours going around and several dealings to do with board members that were actually inside Gravity itself. A lot of it was unsubstantiated rumours, of course, but the fact of the matter was Gravity as a company was already tainted, heavily tainted. When that fateful day of May 22nd, 2006 came along, I knew for a fact that Perpetual Entertainment would no doubt not be the company that would finish off Star Trek Online. It would definitely be another company. Here's why. Did anyone out there bother to look at the contract, copies of the contract, which is publicly available, of course, about the dealings between Gravity and Perpetual Entertainment? Let me tell you then. Gravity announced it invested $9 million in Perpetual Entertainment. Okay, right, fine. Gravity receives a position on Perpetual's board of directors. That's fine, you would expect that. They just gave Perpetual $9 million fricking dollars, people. Here's the kicker. And here's why Perpetual cannot hold the code base of Star Trek Online and give it to another company. Gravity also receives, and I quote, priority rights for future access to contents and other intellectual property rights of Perpetual Entertainment. Perpetual, or P2, doesn't own Star Trek Online. Gravity owns Star Trek Online. They've owned Star Trek Online's codebase since May the 22nd of 2006. Perpetual are a puppet company. The minute that contract was signed on May the 22nd, 2006. Remember, folks, the next time the mad crazy Scotsman from Star Trek-Gamers.com makes a prediction, I advise you to listen to it. And before you start dissing me, try doing a little bit of research. This is now, the 15th? No, 16th prediction I've said on the front page of the STG that actually came true. Yes, Zach, Kenny, back over to you guys again.
Well, it was sure nice having